Hi, good to see you. Kevin Lewis, author of Teams, Tools, and Trials. I'm sharing a screen here with you of a model that you saw in chapter 4 in the book about stages of change concerns. And it was in that model in the organization redesign at CPTC, and then the leaders were moving ahead and everybody was kind of left behind. You haven't seen this version. It's a little cartoonish, but I want to lay the foundation for the next slide, which is pretty more interesting, or pretty interesting. So again, the status of concerns, I put change in there. It's actually an SOC is called concern-based adoption model, and it comes out of University of Texas at Austin many years ago, and I use it in the corporate arena. So this is kind of any change, the stages people go through with any kind of large-scale change that's affecting them. And the first stage is information, which is I don't even know what this change is. What is it? Can you describe it to me? But the next stage is the most difficult one I think get over is the personal change, especially if you're losing a job or a major thing in your life. How will I be involved? Will I have a job? What's in it for me? Those kinds of things. And once you get through that personal change, you're pretty much over the hump. Then you get into the details of the change, what it would be, the operational concerns, how will it impact the people in my group? And then once you get to collaboration, then you're home free. How can we get more people on board? And then sometimes you'll get people who are on board, but they want to change it. They don't like the change in it. They like the idea, but they have a better idea. And that's called refocusing. Not going to get into that too much, but I wanted to show you that because the next model I put together, it kind of integrates three different models. So you've got the state of concerns, and we're going to talk about the personal concerns in a second again. And then Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's death and dying grief model, and then William Bridges. Okay, so it's a lot going on here. So let me just kind of walk you through this with a story. So I had a friend who was an HR colleague, and he was grew up in Pittsburgh, and his dream was always to he was in Houston when I met him, actually New Orleans, sorry, and his dream was always to go back to Pittsburgh and be head of HR, like a VP level for all of golf. He talked to me a lot about that, and then when Chevron, bought Gulf, that kind of just rocked his world. It basically ruined his vision. So he ended up leaving the company, but it took him a long time to kind of get through that. So this is an example of that. So what this is, if we look at the Kubler-Ross, the death and dying kind of stages, where you start with, denial, whatever it is, anger, bargaining, despair, sadness, anxiety, and then disorientation, and then finally acceptance. It takes time. So, and Bridges talks about William Bridges from that model that it's not really it's how people react to change. So that when it's the transition, this neutral zone, psychological no man's land, where I use the metaphor of a trapeze coming at you, and then the trapeze artist is coming down and then turns in midair, and there's another trapeze coming, and you just kind of catch it, the ring, and that while they're in the air there, they're kind of in what Bridges called no man's land. So what I'm trying to get to is the personal concerns. If it's something, I'll go back to this one for a second. If it's something that's not a big deal, maybe it's just moving to another apartment, or you have a new boss, that's okay. But with my friend, it wasn't the job, it was the location and the dream. He wanted the local boy, comes home, went away, came back, and then at a higher level. And he just couldn't handle it. So basically, what I'm trying to get to, the personal concerns could be 20 minutes, depending on the change. It could be a week. And for my friend, he never got over it. He had to leave the company. So it isn't like how much time. Some of them you can never get over it. So you just have to move on. So I really wanted to kind of share that with you folks and anybody, and just think about that a little bit. So sometimes we push and push and push with change. People push back and they get muscle. So just realize that some people will never get over their personal concerns, but it's got to be pretty deep. I mean, usually in a work situation, eventually they're going to they're going to be okay. So that is just something I wanted to kind of share with you there because I thought it was a kind of a cool integration I did several years ago, and hopefully it helps. And with your next change, if you have any questions, send me an email. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Thanks. Bye.